Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I am your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, and our tuxedo kitty, Lilu. And it is a cold and rainy day today. I have absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, I have been stuck inside all day, getting ready for house guests. I cleaned almost all the, well, I've cleaned the entire upstairs. I now have to work on the downstairs, but the downstairs is a little bit easier to clean because the kitchen is not my duty anymore. I've passed that on to my eldest daughter and she has to clean it. Anyway, so this is my guest room slash yarn room slash library, and this is where my house guests will stay, and I will get into that at the end, as I tend to do. Okay, so if you were looking for me, you can find me on Ravelry as Christy-Lael and on Instagram as Christy-Lael without the dash. We also have a Relatively Crafty Ravelry group. We have a Relatively Crafty group on Ravelry, where we have knit-alongs and giveaways. Currently, we're having the spring stuffy knit-along, which I have failed completely in finishing an object in, but hopefully maybe I'll be able to get that done soon, at least before the end of the knit-along, which is June 20th, I believe. It goes the entirety of spring, so you've got about a month left. And yeah, you just have to make a stuffy, and it can be any kind of way, just as long as it's a stuffy and you made it. So, okay, let's go ahead and jump right into the knitting. I have two finished objects, well, sort of 2.5 finished objects, if that makes sense. Well, it doesn't now, but it will, I promise. All my finished objects are socks. I am finding I don't have a lot of energy yet when I get off of work. Just tired and still trying to process everything. You know, it's, even though I am doing something that I was trained to do in school, I'm still having to kind of learn about specific programs on the computer. I'm learning about specific clients, and so it's all taking a lot of my brain energy when I am at work. So when I get home from work, I'm just a bit of a slug. So I just grab whatever is on the needles and close and easy, and that tends to be socks. So first, I finished my sock blank socks. These I knit out of Stranded Dye Works in her Reef Dive sock blank, which is just was the most gorgeous sock blank, and I'm so glad that I finally knit it into socks. You can see that the socks are not matchy. That is the nature of sock blanks, and you know what? I really like it. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but I have found that the two pairs of socks that I knit out of sock blanks before, both by different dyers. I knit one out of Bling Your String, and I knit one of Carrie at Creative Obsessions. So Erin at Bling Your String and Carrie at Creative Obsessions. And both of them are like favorites. Once they are clean, they get worn right away because they're very comfortable to wear. I don't know what it is about the fact that you're knitting from a knitted piece that makes the socks more comfortable, but they are. So anyway, these are finished, and they've been finished for a while now. I think I finished them after the day or two after I podcast last, and it's been a week and a half since I podcast last, so they've been waiting for me. Maybe I will wear them to church tomorrow. I did these with my normal recipe Turkish toe cast on. This is a Fish Lips Kiss Heel 1x1 ribbing with Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off, and yeah, they're done. I love them. I think they're going to be great. I can't wait to wear them. And, okay, so let's talk about my next FO. It's kind of a strange one. You guys remember, sure you remember this sock, right? This is the Wandering Rainbow pattern, which is a gorgeous pattern, obviously. I mean, look at it. It's fun to look at. It's very cleverly written. Much kudos for the designer. However, I knit the first one and I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like all the extra strands that I had to deal with the rainbow, because you carry this rainbow all the way down, and it was just a headache. And so I thought, well, you know what, I'm gonna come up with a solution and just make the second sock different, and that way I don't have to worry about, you know, dealing with that rainbow, that traveling rainbow again. And so, well, I think at first I was just going to make the second sock blue, just plain blue, and just take out the rainbow completely. But I did the leg, and I thought, well, you know, it'd be great to incorporate the rainbow somehow. So I got a mini from Sarah, who sent me just a variegated rainbow mini, and it was perfect. And so I knit the heels and toes of the second sock in the rainbow. And of course, it's not an exact match, but you know what, it was fine. I was okay with the fact that this one's a little bit deeper, this one's a little bit lighter. That wasn't going to be a problem. However, I finished the socks, obviously, and I put them on, and I discovered that I didn't like the way they felt different on my feet. I don't care if they look different, that doesn't bother me in any way, but they felt different. This one is really rather tight, even with the heel flap and gusset. It's really rather tight right here, where the rainbow starts to travel and it goes over the top of my, like here on my foot. And this sock, conversely, felt wonderful. I thought, you know, I don't like it. I love the look of this sock. I love looking at this sock. I think it's gorgeous. And so I realized that what I really appreciated out of this was how it looked and not so much how it felt. And so I've decided that I am going to get a pretty sock blocker, like one of those pretty wood ones that are carved, and display it in my room. I think I'm actually also going to get a mitten blocker as well for that one pumpkin spice mitten that I knit the first one of and didn't finish it. There might be a trend happening. Yeah, I don't like that trend. Anyway, so I am going to display this, and it will be pretty, and I will be able to enjoy it that way. But that left me with one sock, and I have 2 feet, so I need more than one sock. So I looked at what I had left over of the yarn, and I determined that there was indeed enough left over of both the mini and the yarn to make a matching second sock. So I made 3 socks out of this yarn. This is Bewitched Knits in the Rainbow Dash colorway. And it came with the 100 grams of this blue with like 3 grams, something like that. A small amount of like 15 yards of these rainbow minis. But I have done this with them instead. And so they have rainbow toes and rainbow heels, and I did them with the heel flap and gusset because that's how the original sock was knit. And I don't mind knitting a top-down sock except for the flap. I just don't really like knitting a heel flap. Once I get around to turning the heel, I'm fine. I don't mind the gusset. I just don't really enjoy the heel flap. But I did really like that I got some pooling. You can See, that got a little bit of a glare. Got some pooling right there on the heel, or rather the toe. And I think that looks kind of groovy. So yeah, so I have a matching pair that will now go in my sock drawer. So those are the 2 socks that I finished this week, or this week and a half since I podcast last. And I only have 1 whip that I'm working on currently. Everything, the sweater, the colorwork sock, my noodle stuffy, those all have just sat and not been touched all week. So I can only show you what I have worked on. And that is, I don't think I had this cast on last time. That is my next box of socks sock for May. So this is, if you recall, I'm knitting all of my box of socks out of Knitterly Things Vesper sock. This is one of the rainbows from last year, her Rainbow of the Month club that I was in. And I think last week I said, or last podcast I said it was time and again, but it is actually Time and Tide. Time and Tide, and I absolutely love this colorway. It is so gorgeous. Really, really liking how these turns out. So that is all that I've worked on besides finishing up those socks. I haven't done anything else. I did grab the yarn and wind for my my next Lolo Did It Hippo for the holidays socks. It is what, May 19th, so there are what, 12 days left in the month. And I have to finish these socks, and I have to cast on and finish these socks. Obviously, I am not going to get those done, but this colorway is Hippo for Mom, so I believe I have until the end of June. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get 12 pairs done. I don't care if I get them done exactly in the months. I'm not too worried about that. So, yeah, so next time you'll see, hopefully, this pair of socks done, and this pair of socks at least a good way gone. I do have a day off next week. Not the one we're coming into, but I have Memorial Day off. So, that will be nice to be able to get a little break. That's it, guys. Oi! I go ahead and get into yarn haul. I do have some yarn to haul. Let's see. When I finished that pair of socks that I just showed you guys for Ron that I knit on our vacation, and I mentioned I knitted out of Grundle Hot Socks, Diamond Mitt Merino, and I had decided that I really liked knitting those. I really liked knitting those socks. They were fun. The way the patterning was on the socks was loads of fun. I'll post a picture if you didn't see my last podcast. It was just really enjoyable, and so I went to see if I could get my hands on some more, and I did. 2 skeins, or 2 colorways, 2 skeins of each. This is color number 2 here. This is color number 4. No, I'm sorry, color number 7. I have color number 4 already that I'm gonna use for a pair of socks for me. But I got these. Let me see, maybe you can see there. That's how they'll look knit up for colorway number 2, and colorway number 7 will knit up like that. And like I said, that is Grundle, which is a German yarn, Hot Socks Diamond Mitt Merino. So yeah, so 2 socks worth of those. They're what was I, like six something each. So I was able to get a pair of socks worth for like $13 or $14. Then these just came today. I wasn't expecting them, but they did. I had so much fun ordering that partial skein from Mustache that when I saw that she had her next upload and it was some Star Wars colorways, I was like, yeah, I need to get on that. So I got another partial skein in her R2 colorway, which is absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, this is a sock skein and not the sport, so I can't make the socks like this one sock and the other sock. That would have been cool, but I can take this and make a pair of shorties if I get something for heels and toes out of this is 33 grams. So that's cool. And then I got a full skein in this colorway, which I just couldn't pass up. This is in her sport self-striping sock base. And this is one of her must-match skeins. So it's two identical 50-gram skeins twisted together. And it's in the Campfire colorway. I'm hoping. You can see that all right. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see why I felt the need to get it, right? It's such a Christy colorway. And it's stripy, which I love, and so I'm very keen on that. Next, I was in a swap with Barbara of the Flamin' Fiber podcast. She had a swap amongst the people in her group, and she paired us up, and we swapped between each other. So the person that I got paired up with, I sent a package to, and then she sent a package to me. So it was kind of cool because we could talk about what we wanted to send. The idea of the swap was basically send the equivalent to each other. So my partner and I, we talked about it, and I've totally forgotten my partner's name. Linda, I believe? Gosh, I'm so sorry. I need to take show notes. If I'm wrong, I'll put it down here. I know your Ravelry name, you're Maeve on Ravelry, but I can't remember your first name. Anyway, we talked about it. We decided we'd do a little bit of yarn and some other goodies that we could find on Etsy or in our travels. I happened to be going on a trip, to the southwest of the United States, and so I was able to pick some stuff up for her while I was on my trip, and then got some yarn here at my local yarn shop, Colorful Yarns in Centennial, and I sent her. Oh, and I had my aunt make a bag for me to give her, which is not something that I had to buy on Etsy, but it is the same quality of an Etsy bag, and it was actually, I had her make me two because this bag was so cute. I got the sheeps. So I sent her one of these bags. Just get on a tangent here. My aunt also made me this one to send, or made this one for me. Sent this one to me when she sent me the others. I just absolutely love them. So cute. Anyway, so totally derailed myself. I got my package on Wednesday, I think. I don't know. I got my package this week. First off, I was blown away because she sent it in this box. This was the whole thing. She just put my address right there, taped it up. I've obviously taken all the tape off because the box is too cute to pass up on. And inside is a slew of goodies. So let's go over those. She sent me 2 skeins from different dyers of tweed sock yarn, and I'm super excited about this because I have never actually knit with tweed sock yarn. I have knit with tweed Aran weight yarn, but never sock yarn, so I'm really, really keen. Plus, she sent me this skein, which is from Maker's Haven, and I haven't tried Maker's Haven before. So this is I thought it said chimp. The Chimp of Crickets. The Chirp of Crickets. This is an 85-15 tweed sock base. So it's gray with colorful tweedy bits, which I like. And then the other one is from Query Fibers, which you all know I already love. And so this is the other skein that she sent me. Hopefully you guys are seeing that okay. It is beautiful. It's called Chromatic. It's got like all the colors, and Query Fiber is self-striping. So this will be a self-striping skein, and you can see all the little tweedy flubs in there. So yeah, I'm excited about it. These two are beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait. But that wasn't it. There was other stuff in there. There was a little notion pouch. Cute little notion pouch with pretty flowers on it. And there was a cute project bag along the same style that I sent her, which is kind of funny, with bunnies on it. We like the bunnies here. And this is from So Re Mi, which is a maker I'm not familiar with. So that's kind of cool. This little project bag is from Marie Elena Bliss. Marie Elena Bliss. And then there was a book, which was really cool. This is Slow Knitting by Hannah Thiessen, and it says A Journey from Sheep to Skein to Stick. So I'm gonna have to check it out. It's got I haven't had a chance to really look at it yet, but it's got some really pretty pictures in here, and there's patterns like so, and then there's yarn profiles. Let's see if I can see one of those. This one says Yarn for Thought, and it's talking about different types of how yarn is sourced. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm interested in it. Looks like it's got some beautiful stuff. Yeah, here's a Quince & Co. yarn profile. Yeah, I'm really keen on it, and some really pretty patterns. Some talks about just, where your yarn is coming from and how it is processed and what you can do, what just kind of food for thought about how to get more sustainable products, support more companies that are being more sustainable. And I like that. I like that. So, so yeah, I'm very keen on this, to check this out. And then there were some other little goodies in here. There were some super cute Progress Keepers. Looks like that's maybe a Frappuccino or a milkshake. It looks yummy. And then a piece of pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. I'm wondering if this is a pumpkin spice latte, maybe. I like pumpkin stuff. So that was fun. I don't know where those came from, but they could be, well, there are so many talented makers out there now that are making these little cute Progress Keepers, so I'm not even going to speculate. But the last thing in the box is actually something that she maybe even got as an afterthought, but I just absolutely love it to death. It is a Weeboggle, and it's made in Scotland. It says, thrown on the potter's wheel and then hand-painted. Each piece is made in white earthenware and fired up to 1,120 degrees centigrade. The name comes from a creature in folklore. A boggle is a household spirit whose only purpose is to mystify its human neighbors. Here is the card for the Weeboggles. And I got a sheep Weeboggle. Look at him, he's adorable, and he's got a little fluff tail. I absolutely love him. He's definitely going to be going up in my yarn room ASAP. I'm so excited. And yeah, from the picture, it looks like there are more Weeboggles to be purchased. I'm definitely going to need to get... I'm going to have to get some more. Look at him. The little cat and the penguin. Thank you so much. This was such a great package. Absolutely in love with that little sheep. That's so cute. Okay, and then lastly, it's no great secret that I am personal friends with Erin at Bling Your String. Erin is Canadian, and she is fantastic. She makes amazing things, both with fabric and with dyeing. And because we are friends, and because she is nice, I am sort of slightly taking advantage of her in asking her to hold on to my orders from her for the for as long as it takes for me to get up like a decent amount so that she can ship it all to me at once and kind of save on shipping. So I've recently gotten an order from Bling Your String, and several of the things have been on hold for me for quite a while. So it was kind of exciting to see some of this stuff because I ordered it a couple of months ago. Really cool. Plus, Erin has started vacuum packing her yarns to cut down on shipping cost. I didn't realize shipping outside, or shipping to Canada is expensive from us, from the United States to Canada. And apparently shipping from Canada to the United States is just as expensive. But I've learned that shipping within Canada is expensive as well. Shipping within the United States is not too bad. You can ship a skein of yarn for $2 to $3, but apparently you can't do that in Canada. So she is vacuum packing them, and so they're flat little pancakes, little yarn pancakes, and then she can fit them into an envelope and ship things cheaper and cheaply. Gosh. So I got 3 of her sock sets. This, and I kept them vacuum packed because I wanted to show them to you. This is Meep. Her sock sets are the ones that I really like, where it's 50 grams of the main color and then 20-gram mini for heels and toes. So Meep is gorgeous. And then this one is Happy Hummingbirds, which is more, this one's like a brighter orange. This one's got more green in it. And then this one is, fall foliage. And so I thought I would open them for you so you could see what they look like, you know, how it comes like this, and then, you know, how this affects your yarn, because it really doesn't affect your yarn in any negative way, but it does make it a lot cheaper, and it's kind of fun. Ron, however, was like, you should just get one of these vacuum seals and vacuum seal all your yarn, and then you could just like fit it in your bookcases, you know, like this, and look at how much yarn you could have, and you know, like it would just take up almost no space. And I'm like, dude, you don't understand the whole point. I mean, besides knitting with it, but the whole point is to look at it and see how pretty it is and admire it. And if I put it all away and vacuum pack it and slip it into slots, then I won't be able to look at it. I won't be able to pet it. It just won't be the same. Well, you could take it out to you know, when you want to knit with it, and then you can look at it then, and you can keep a couple of skeins out. And no, he obviously just doesn't understand how a knitter's mind works. So anyway, here we go. I am going to go ahead and cut this open. Cut it open. Yep. So there you go. It is a little wrinkled, but it doesn't, it's still fluffy. Oh, it's gorgeous. And you need to, obviously, you have to be able to do, you know, reskein them, but that's not a problem. She says as she struggles with it. So there you go. Oh gosh, that's gorgeous. So that is the main skein. Oh, but I love the heel toe skein even more. Oh my goodness. Get it all. Oh, geez, this color, Erin, is the most beautiful orange ever dyed. Like, for reals, yo. Wow, look at that. What a beautiful color. So there you go. That is one sock set. And that's all you need to do. When you get it, it looks like this. You cut it open, it then looks like this. And so this is ready to be knit with. But that is not the only thing that I got from Erin. Oh no. I also picked up one of her bags. She's started her own podcast, as I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that she does at the end of her podcast is she gives her audience, you know, should I make bags out of this fabric or out of this fabric? And they vote, you know, and we vote rather. So pick A or B, and then she makes the bag out of the fabric, and then she dyes some yarn to go along with the bag. So this was one of the most recent ones, and you can obviously tell that there was no way that I was not going to get this bag, because goodness gracious, look at it. And of course I picked the orange zipper. That's what those are called. And it's got orange polka dots on the inside. It's so cute. So, so yeah, I've got like an unusual influx of knitting bags just recently. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four new knitting. No, 5. Because I forgot to show you. This was the other knitting bag that my aunt sent me. Llamas! Llamas in sweaters and hats. Can you see? Look at this guy right there. He's a Peruvian llama in a Peruvian hat. Oh my gosh, I love this. So this is a bigger one, and it's for like almost like a sweater size. I haven't used it yet, but I just absolutely love it. She has decided that she's enjoying sewing these bags. She's retired and is looking for something to fill her time with. So we made a deal. I'm knitting her socks and she's sewing me bags. So yeah, it's working out well for me. And she says it's working out well for her too, as well. So that's 2 as well. That was a little redundant. Okay, so that is all of the yarny goodness. I guess the last thing before I get into like life stuff is books. So this is what I am listening. Oh gosh, that is blown out. This is what I am listening to right now on audio. This is Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. And it is a YA kind of dystopian or alternate reality book. It's kind of a sort of along the lines of Divergent or Hunger Games or that kind of thing, where it's our world but it's different. It's either way in the future or it's just there's been different circumstances and so things have changed. And in this world, everybody is well, when you're born, you're a littlie, and you're a littlie until I think 11. And then you become an ugly. And you're an ugly until your 16th birthday, where you go through a significant amount of surgeries and you become a pretty. And pretties have, it's determined off of science that, you know, the humanity has discovered that when faces are more symmetrical, you know, your eyes are the same shape and the same size on both sides, and your mouth is the same on both sides and whatnot. Your eyebrows are the same length and the same fullness on both sides of your face. That is more attractive, and that is actually true. I watched a video on it, a documentary on it, ages and ages ago. That more symmetrical faces are more attractive, according to society. So this world has decided that in order to kind of cut out wars and all that kind of stuff, they basically, you go through, nobody worries, nobody gets anorexia anymore, nobody, you know, is depressed about how they look, or, you know, has any problems with anything, because they know that the minute they turn 16, they're going to become a pretty. And there's young pretties, and then there's middle pretties, and then there's late pretties. So you kind of go through these surgeries throughout your life to kind of change yourself to kind of age a little bit, but still be gorgeous, you know. And so the main character, Tally, is 3 months before her birthday, so before she was supposed to turn pretty, and she has made new friends with Shay. Her best friend from growing up, Paris, has already been turned pretty, and the pretties and uglies are separated. And so Tally is by herself for the next 3 months. She meets Shay. Shay is about the same age as she is, and so they build up a friendship, and Tally learns that maybe there are, and Shay doesn't really want to become pretty. She doesn't want to have, she likes the way she looks naturally, and so she doesn't understand why everybody has to become pretty, and she runs away right before their birthday, and so Tally kind of learns that there's maybe this becoming a pretty isn't the be all end all, and maybe Pretty World or Pretty Town isn't, you know, the utopia that that she's been brought up to think it was. So it's interesting. I'm about 3/4 of the way through the book. It is the first in a series. You have pretties, you have uglies, you have pretties, you have specials, and you have extras. So I am interested to see. I'm borrowing the audiobooks from the library, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's not the best thing ever, but I'm enjoying it. It's a good series for what it is. So if you liked Divergent, you would probably like these. And then for my reading at night, I have discovered a new author, and that is Josh Malerman. I read one of his shorter novellas, I guess, which was called The House at the Bottom of the Lake. I borrowed it. I got it on my Kindle, so I don't have a copy, but I'll post a picture of the cover here. And it was interesting. He kind of reminds me, his stories are kind of intense and a bit creepy, but kind of like M. Night Shyamalan. I've said it wrong for so many years. M. Night Shyamalan's movies, you know, where it's creepy, but kind of like a low budget creepy. Like it doesn't, there's no jump scares or anything like that. You just kind of had this unsettling feeling throughout the whole thing, you know, until you get to the end. But you got to get to the end because you need to know what's going on, and everything is revealed. But yeah, I don't know. I that's the best way that I can kind of compare. He's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan for books. So I really enjoyed The House at the Bottom of the Lake, and then this is one I've actually had for a while. This is called Bird Box. Now, Josh Malerman is an adult author, so these are not YA books. Bird Box is interesting. It's set in our world in our time, but something happened. All of a sudden, people started seeing things. They would look outside and they would start seeing things, and it would cause them to kill themselves in like gruesome ways. And if they were with somebody else, they would kill them too. And so very quickly, the world learned that they couldn't look outside. And so they boarded up their windows, and if they left the house, they had to go blindfolded. And so there's not many people left. And this is the story is based around Mallory, who found out she was pregnant right when this epidemic happened, and now it is, well, like almost 5 years later, and she has the 2 kids who are like 4 that she has had to train to use their ears and not their eyes. And she's having to leave the house that she's at to go someplace else. And I don't know exactly where she's going yet, but it's a very interesting story, and I love the way it's being told, because every other chapter or so is a flashback. So you've got Mallory present day, and this travel up the river that she's doing with these kids that are, as I said, 4 years old, and they're all 3 of them blindfolded, and they're on a boat, and they're just going up the river. And then, you know, that's already intense, but then you go back and you learn about how the epidemic happened and what happens to her to get her to the point where she has to leave the house with just the 2 kids. What happened to everybody else, and that's also intense. And so I am really, really digging this book. I've wanted to, you know, it's one of those books where you don't want to put it down, but I've obviously have to work in the morning, and I'm also, I want to savor it because it's so good. I'm really, really enjoying it. It is not very long. It's only 250 pages, and you can see I am about 3/4 of the way through this one as well. And I am really, really enjoying it. If you like things a little bit on the creepy side and intense, then I would highly recommend this. Yeah, it's really good. I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't know yet why it's called Bird Box, by the way. Oh, no, I do. But I can't tell you, because that'll give something away. Anyway, okay, so that is basically all that I'm reading right now. So, life. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I apologize for any background noise. That is the children. I am getting ready for house guests because my father and my brother are on their way up here. They just texted a little while ago. They're in Arizona now. And they're coming to stay for good. So, my mom is coming. It's like the whole family. They packed up, the movers came and packed up their house on Friday. And today is Saturday, by the way. So yesterday the house got packed up, and they said the moving company was amazing. We moved by ourselves. We packed up a U-Haul truck. So I think that the next time we move, we're just going to hire a moving company. Yeah, so Dad and Justin left this morning. They will be here tomorrow, and my mom is still in California because she is a teacher and school hasn't gotten out yet. She has to wait another couple of weeks, and then she will be coming with my uncle, who is also a teacher and will also be on summer break, and so is going to come and help them kind of unpack and set up the house and that kind of thing. Uncle, I've mentioned before, is phenomenal at that kind of thing. He is amazing at setting up house. So, well, he's amazing at a lot of other things, but one of his particular talents is setting up house. And so anyway, so Dad and Justin are coming. They'll be here tomorrow. As I said, they'll be staying here. This is not a new bedspread, by the way. It's one of those reversible ones, and I decided to use the red side this time. And Justin and Dad will be staying here until the movers come with their stuff in a couple of weeks. So they have a house already here, but it is unfurnished, and they're not very good at cooking for themselves. So they thought it would be a good idea that they come and stay with us. I'm really okay with it because the because it would be nice to have them around, and the kids are getting out of school soon, and I've got built-in babysitters just living in the upstairs room. So yeah, so that is what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. And I have to say, with regards to the podcast, I'm still podcasting regularly, but I think I'm going to have to make some changes. Getting off on Wednesday and coming home and podcasting didn't work for me last week. You know, I was able to record it on Wednesday, but then I didn't get to edit it until Thursday, and I didn't get to upload it until Friday, and that was just, it was discombobulated. I didn't like it. So I have more time on the weekends. It would just be better if I record on the weekends and upload. So I'm trying to think. I might do it on Saturdays or I might do it on Sundays. It kind of depends. But I'm also kind of thinking, I haven't come to a definite decision on this yet, but I am kind of thinking about maybe going to every other week, just simply because the amount of knitting I'm getting done in a week is half as much as what I used to. And that may change when I finished taking my tests and when Ron finishes his class, because he'll be able to do more dinner duties, and when we kind of work out my school, or my work schedule rather, and how that's going to affect me. But for right, but I'm kind of thinking that it might be a good thing. We'll have to see. Like I said, I haven't come to a decision on that. I'm just kind of playing with the idea. Thought I'd kind of present it to you guys so that it wasn't like a big surprise, but it is possible that I may go to every other week, just so that I have a little bit more to show you, a little bit more to talk about, a little bit more done, and yeah, and you know, it will take up, there won't be as much time taken out to have to do it, because it does take a long time to do the whole podcast. You know, there's an hour or so, depending on how much I talk. There's an hour to an hour and a half of recording, and then there's that much, probably twice as much, that 2 hours at least of editing, and then you know, almost an hour to upload, and you know, that kind of thing. So there's several hours that go into it, and so if I do that every other week, that might be a little bit easier. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, I'll make a decision about that later. I am hoping to podcast next weekend. We'll see how life treats me. But yeah, I think that is it for today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, or weekend, as it were. And yeah, happy knitting. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.